So a really disappointing night for the Republic of Ireland here at the Aviva Stadium, beaten 1-0 by Finland. Stuey Byrne was alongside me on commentary. It's hard to find too many positives from that, Stewie.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and it's not nice to kind of come out of these two games on a little bit of a downer. I felt kind of quite positive after the Bulgaria game that we were going in the right direction. Still think we are. I just a little bit worried about the energy levels that were out there today. Some of the decision making was poor, and probably when you look at the body language of the players at the final minute, it probably tells everything. They looked exhausted. They really did look exhausted. Maybe I underestimated fitness levels at this stage of the season. Didn't think it would be an issue, but obviously it is more of an issue, and obviously something that will be addressed as these players get back to club level. And the next time we come back, we would expect to see a fresher Ireland team.
Yeah, all this analysis, I guess, needs to come with a health warning that we're 2 games in. He's only had 2 real training sessions because they weren't able to train properly yesterday because they only got back from Bulgaria on Friday. But we had a text in asking, like, was this a selection problem in terms of personnel he picked? Was it a fitness problem because it's pre-season? Was it a tactical problem? What was the problem? Why was that such a flat performance?
Yeah, I think when you see it across the board, it tends to be, it's not just one player or 2 players. It tends to be a collective thing. We looked tired. We genuinely looked tired. Didn't look sharp. You alluded to the fact that obviously Finland have been back. Their players have been back now for a month in their relative leagues, and that looked to have been the difference. Exactly, you don't need to panic about these situations. You have to kind of look at it with a little bit of common sense and wonder why did we not play? Why did we not step up from the Bulgarian game, which I was expecting that we would have done? Why did we go slightly backwards? I feel, and you can only put it down to the fact that the players did look tired, did look flat. We made 3 changes, but there were 3 changes in that central midfield area. Everyone else who played the other night started tonight as well. And you could just see right from the start that the decision making, we weren't moving the ball as well as we might have done the other night. We were a little bit static. The options weren't the same. I thought the front 3, especially Connolly and O'Dowda, a little bit easy to mark tonight for me. They were a little bit sort of maybe not as switched on, and so the options weren't really there that I felt would have been there the other night. The midfield 3 is still a problem.
There's a lot of questions. Like, that's the biggest disappointment probably, I'd say, for Stephen Kenny, is that he came in thinking he'd have some answers after these 2 games. If anything, there's far more questions from top to bottom. Defensively, Ireland have been so solid over the last few years. Suddenly they look very, very open, and you can get at them. He made that big decision to bring in Matt Doherty for Seamus Coleman. On that one, considering you've given Doherty these 2 games, does he have to stick with him now for Slovakia? Or do you bring Coleman back in?
I think a lot may depend on how well both the lads are playing at club level. It looks like Doherty has the position at the moment, and that's the way it's going to be. So certainly a lot will depend on how he gets on at Tottenham and how Seamus Coleman gets on at Everton. I think Stephen probably would have felt coming into these 2 games that the biggest job he probably had for just the 2 games was to get us thinking about playing the ball out from the back more often, and playing this more expansive style of football. Coming out of the 2 games now, it looks like to me that the problem is that doesn't seem to be a huge problem for him. It seems to be the personnel that he's going to use to do it that seems to be a bigger issue.
Yeah, it's a more expansive, but also it seems a far more open style of football. That the pitch seems very, very big when Ireland are playing at the moment. If they lose possession, there's all sorts of gaps. The issue at the other end then is goals. So in the last 3 years, only Shane Duffy has scored more than 1 goal for Ireland. There were chances. Aaron Connolly should have got a goal over the course of a couple of days, but these are not very experienced players who don't have a confidence at international level. There's not a lot he can do about that, or is there?
Not well. You just keep trying. I'm a firm believer in that scoring goals is a habit thing. More than anything else, how often have we seen in the past where somebody might not score for months or weeks, and then they get a goal, and all of a sudden they get a couple of goals in the subsequent weeks after that. I think we look to me like we're not convicted enough when we're in areas of the pitch to get, to either hit the target or score goals. Callum Robinson, I felt, had a wonderful chance, probably the chance of the game. I know the keepers pulled off a wonderful save, but you would think at international level, you'd be sticking them in the back of the net. And Aaron Connolly's had a couple of half chances, but definitely that is an issue for us, Nathan. And it's not just an issue for one person, not just an issue for a striker or somebody up front. It's an issue for everybody, because we've had chances across the board in both games, and it's been primarily those three up top that haven't stuck it in the back of the net.
A big part of the debate over the next month is going to be about what happens in midfield. Should he stick with a 3, or should he maybe try and change system and go with a 4-2-3-1? He's tried 6 players out there over the last 2 games. Did any of the 6 put their hand up and say, you know what, I've got to start against Slovakia?
Yeah, no, probably. Both the Bulgaria game and the Finnish game offered different things for our midfield to deal with. It was a different sort of dynamic to the game against Bulgaria. Tonight, I thought we just gave the Finnish number 8, Robert Taylor, just way too much space. He ran the game. He genuinely ran the game, and that's really disappointing. He was never picked up right from the get-go. He was finding all sorts of spaces, whether it be dropping deep, getting turned 10 yards in front of him, no one closing him down. And then he was making wonderful runs in behind our back 4, again not being marked, not being picked up. Ultimately, it was his run that led to the goal, a Jensen tap in. And you're kind of wondering, why aren't we doing something about this? You don't need a manager to be roaring and shouting from the sideline saying number 8 is a problem.
Yeah.
Go and pick him up and go and mark him. Organise it yourself. He was a real problem in the game that we just never dealt with.
You know what international football is like, the way we talk about it in this country, and people are very passionate about it. And this result is going to be poured over for the next month. Hopes were so high, probably unrealistically high, for how quickly Stephen Kenny could make a change.
Yeah.
You've played in a Stephen Kenny dressing room. How do you think he reacts to this and the scrutiny he's going to come under over the next month?
He'll be very disappointed, and I think it'll take him time to consume it all. He'll be quiet about it. He'll be reflective about it. He'll go away and he'll probably be working endless nights now, looking back at videos, looking back at both games, trying to figure out what the issue are, and I'm sure he'll be doing that with his backroom staff. But I think there'll be a different reaction to this than you would see with other managers. He's obviously he's based here. He's obviously going to go see as many games as he possibly can and just see how the players themselves have reacted to. But I think it's important as well that we. I know. Look, the game here is it's covered so much now, and all the Irish people want, or all Ireland want, you just want to feel attached to a team again. Unfortunately, because of COVID, we can't get that at the moment. We can't get that attachment because you can't get crowds into games, and people are just looking at what they see on the TV, looking at what we've seen, and everyone will be disappointed. But I think you kind of hit the nail on the head that he's only had a few days with the squad. He's only had a short period of time.
The problem he has is he'll have 2 more sessions between now and Slovakia.
Yeah, so ultimately it's going to be a sink or swim type of situation. It really is. It's going to all boil down to that Slovakia game, and maybe we'll do it the way we've always done it. A little bit kamikaze style, and somehow get over the line. Yeah.
Here's hoping. Great stuff, Stuey.